Hello friends, myself Rupal Gupta, Assistant Professor of Faculty of Engineering and Computer Science in Thakan Mahavid University. Today I am going to give a lecture on Hbase, which is a component of big data. So as Hbase is nothing, we can say it's a NoSQL database, which is basically work on column oriented databases. So you can say that Hbase is an open source NoSQL database, and it's a distributed column oriented data store that can scale out horizontally up to thousands of commodity servers and petabyte of indexing storage also. We'll see what is the indexing we are having in this Hbase architecture. So it is basically store all the things on the top of Hadoop distributed file system for scalability, fault tolerance, and high availability. The major aspect of this Hbase is basically it provides a consistent data. Hbase is actually an implementation of the big table storage architecture, which is a distributed storage system developed by Google. Hbase works well with structured, unstructured, and semi-structured of data. So we can manage any kind of data using Hbase irrespective of Hive or other components. So what is Google's big table was first blob based storage system, and Yahoo basically put it as an open source, and it is basically a Apache project, and Hbase is used internally by Facebook. It is having some API functions like get and put, which works on rows, scan for row range filters for some range queries, and we are also having one functions API like multiput, where we can store or get multiple rows on the basis of key value architecture. So it is having some comparison with Cassandra, where we say that Cassandra is basically more emphasizing on availability of the data, high availability, but Hbase prefers consistency of the data over availability. So this is the Hbase architecture. So as you see that we are having few major components in this Hbase architecture, like Zookeeper, we are having some client, we are having some Hbase master, region server, regions, and then further we are having our data nodes, where the data nodes is basically storing all the data on the top of SDFS, but the storage structure is given by Hbase. So we can say that if we are having a table, tables are split into regions, and these regions are basically managed by region servers. So we can say that regions vertically divided by column families, and we are giving the name of this column family as our stores. We'll see what are the stores. So if we can say that store saves the files in SDFS, so whatever we are storing in Hbase, that is in the form of stores. So Hbase also utilize the Zookeeper for the coordination, distributed coordination, if we are having multiple region servers and multiple data nodes also. So in general, we can say that Hbase component are clients. So clients, then we are having Hmaster. You just see this. This is Hbase master. We are taking this Hmaster. So Hmaster is basically monitoring all region servers instances in a cluster. So it is having the functionality of monitoring all the region servers which are there in this architecture. So we are having for the regions. So this is, we can say, that basic elements of availability and distribution of the tables. We are having Hbase tables. H tables are also the name of these tables. Then we are having region servers, is basically serving and managing regions. You can say regions are nothing. We are talking about the storage, data storage, where it has to be stored. So in a distributed cluster, region server runs on a data node. So we can say that whatever region servers, so it is basically a part of any data node. So next we are coming to the data model with an example. So whatever data in Hbase stored, it's basically stored in the form of row keys, where all the row keys data are basically stored in a sorted sequence, sorted order. So as you can see that we are having street, city, state, date, item, ship address, cost. So whatever data is stored in Hbase is basically stored on the basis of row key, where further row keys are divided into regions, which we'll see in the next slides how the row keys are basically divided into regions. So you can say that a row key will work like a primary key, as we are having a concept of primary key in relational database also. So records in Hbase are stored in sorted order, as already have discussed this. Data in rows are grouped together in a column families. Now just see this, if we are removing this date, street, city and state, these three columns are basically combined to create another column family, and the column family name is address. Similarly, date, item number, ship address and cost will be combined to create another column family, and the column family name is order. This is what we are talking about, columnar database. So these are two column families. These columns in a family are stored together in a low level storage file, and these files are known as H files. So moving further, just see this with this example, we are having the columnar families, we are having row keys, and now we are basically dividing that specific tables into regions. Now regions are nothing we are talking about, we are having the range of key, range 1, range 2, range 3. So we are having range 1 from Smith to some another row ID. Further after that specific row ID, we are moving from to my next region, from Turner to Twisters, and then further we are having a region 3 with some Z sequences. So in spite of storing the whole data, we are basically divided into several regions, and then these regions are basically monitored and managed by region servers, and then further all these regions are basically um, stored in store files, which is nothing we are talking about Hbase files further, and that can be stored in different data nodes. So further, if we are talking about further column, what do you mean by column family? So I'm giving one example. Suppose we are having employee ID, name, city, designation, and salary. So this is your row key where you can store the data on the basis of keys. These name and cities having your columnar family named as personal data, and designation and salary, again we are having another column family name professional data. These data, this column is basically stored in H file. In spite of storing the whole row, we are basically storing the data in terms of columnar families. So one columnar families will stored in H file, another column family which was stored in a H file with some reasons. So that is the basic architecture, how we are basically stored in the data in Hbase using H files. So for accessing, suppose we just want to access this John. So in spite of using the name column, we have to refer this data using a columnar family. So we can refer it like personal data colon name. So it's like if we want to refer this column, we are talking about personal data name. Similarly, if we are talking about designation, so in spite of directly accessing to the designation, we have to refer it using the columnar family, and that columnar family is professional data colon designation. How this is how we can access this data. Similarly, we are having another concept, and the concept name is cell. So how you are basically referring that specific data. So for example, in the previous example, we are having John, name John, whose city is Mumbai. So let's see how we are basically storing it in terms of keys and values. So we are having row key. So what is row key? Row key is having John. What is the column family? Personal data. Column qualified, it was city, and we are additionally we are storing timestamp, and the timestamp value is Mumbai. So this all the data will be referred as a key, and then further we can refer the data of Mumbai as a value. So data is stored in Hbase table cells. Cells are the combination of row, column families, column qualifier contains a value and the timestamp. The key consists of row key, column name and timestamp. The entire cell with the added structure information is called as key value. So this is key, this is value. So in general, if we are talking about Hbase data model, so we start with the tables, then we start with the row, then we further divide it into column families, then we describe the column qualifier, and finally we just sum up with the storage named as cell. So then for the timestamp value within a cells or version, we are talking about that on which version it has been basically having some changes. So thank you for the hearing, and further a few lectures will also be introduced later. Thank you. Have a nice day.